Hi everyone, here's what's bothering me today. I have to talk about Ahmad Alisa and already the narratives that are forming on both sides and why both sides, and I hate to sound like a centrist about this, both sides have some wrong ideas. For starters, because they're the most egregious, all of a sudden now, since his name was released, now right-wing media cares about the shooting in Boulder. When it was happening yesterday and was, live coverage on primetime and all the other networks, Fox didn't cover it. And on top of this, what adds to just how sickening this all is that the NRA a week ago said that they supported this new ruling with regards to AR-15s because, of course, AR-15s are in the news again because this shooting was committed with an AR-15. And so people are calling for gun reform, which absolutely should be a thing. They're also calling for, the banning of an AR-15. But gun owners do have a bit of a point when they point out that all you're doing is banning a popular platform. It's not addressing the core issue. And then on the other side of this, among the left, and I'll admit I'm a little guilty of this too, is that when this suspect was apprehended alive, a lot of us instinctively went, oh, so he's probably white then, which turns out, judging by his name, he's not. So this also brings into very stark contrast the fact that the issue of people who are heavily armed who commit mass shootings in America do tend to be white, and they do tend to be taken into custody alive. I mean, what? Didn't they get Dylan Roof McDonald's or Burger King or something? So that's a problem. Basically, here's the thing. And this is ultimately what's bothering me about this whole situation. What's getting lost in the news is that this isn't just one of two mass shootings recently, the other being, of course, Atlanta. This is the seventh. This is the seventh mass shooting in as many weeks. And still, the arguments and the way this goes, it is so circular. And I hate it. I hate that the same points, valid or not, get brought up by both sides. I hate that it's, oh, see, this is why we can't let brown people into our country, because they'll kill us. We have to stoke fear. And the other side is, this is why we should ban AR-15s. And it's like, if you ban AR-15s, you're just going to replace it with something else. It'll be AK-47s next. None of this makes sense. And it all ignores the root cause of what triggers a lot of this, which is a severe lack of mental support. And let's see, why are people feeling so mentally stressed beyond the fact that it's a pandemic? It's because jobs are drying up, because we're not holding the capitalist class accountable. We don't have enough support for teachers and school administrators to actually meaningfully address mental health in youth. We're not accurately addressing and punishing bullying and sexual assault and just, physical assault and verbal assault. We're not actually funding in any serious capacity this stuff that would actually help people's mental health. And that's just in the immediate. Never mind the actual mental health strain that is caused for other people thinking about how dire the world situation is, and they don't like seeing their, people in their communities, their states or their provinces or their nations or in other nations. They don't like seeing people suffer. They don't like that their elected governments, who are supposed to represent them in their interests, continue day after goddamn day to ignore the reality of climate change and fail every goddamn day to meaningfully address it. There's less pay, despite there being more wealth than ever before. There is less security because everyone has to be a contractor or a gig worker now. And so people, young and old, are working more than one job. All of these issues and more contribute to stress and terrible mental health. And it's not like we were supporting mental health before anyway. And yet, that's what's going to happen, right? We're going to have the same circular arguments. the right will also say, well, this isn't a gun issue, it's a mental health issue. Well, then fucking fund mental health already, you absolute hypocritical cowards. It is so ridiculous. And this happens every time. Every time the arguments are the same from the left and the right. And the misunderstandings are the same from the left and the right. And no one actually forms what should, in this case, be an actual united front and go to all your elected representatives, your businesses, gun owners, etc. If this is actually about mental health, well then let's actually lock arms and go and get some real funding and support for mental health. And if this is, about, guns are just a tool. Yeah, but I don't see you posing with your wrenches over your shoulder or with, your circular saws posing like this while you wear a frickin' plate carrier that you've never actually worn into combat. You just want to look cool. There are very real problems and concerns that should be addressed with unfortunate situations like this. But they never are, because we're all in this for different reasons. When the reasons that will actually help to address this are not the ones that we see talked about in our respective circles. And the fact that those points are absent and that these same narratives are going to continue in the same circular arguments that we go through for every mass shooting in the States or elsewhere. The fact that this is just going to be yet another instance of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That is what's bothering me today.